Management for Doctors. I am Dr. Roopam Gupta. I am a doctor. I am also a professor. I teach medical students. I am also a hospital administrator. I am the medical superintendent of a 1,000-bedded teaching hospital. Through this YouTube video, I intend to share my limited knowledge about management with my colleagues, with my respected seniors and juniors, of course. Why should doctors learn management? Well, doctors are managers already, aren't they? They manage so many things. They manage their patient. In fact, in the medical lingo, it is already known as patient management, medical management, surgical management. Doctors also manage such a lot of human resource. They manage their nurses, the lab technicians, the OT technicians, the ward boys, the nursing assistants, and whatnot. They also manage the pharmacy, they manage the material supply, the consumable supplies. They also manage whatever profit they make, therefore, they manage their finances also. So, why should they learn about management? Well, friends, management is a science and a discipline. There is indeed something more about management than what we think we know. Therefore, through this endeavor, our aim and objective is if we have the power of basic knowledge about this science and art of management, and if we are able to learn this easily in least time and also interestingly, we may be even more successful. The most important reason why we should study management is the universality of management. Well, management is needed just everywhere, whether the organization is small or big, whether the organization is for profit or not for profit, whatever level of organization, whether it is the top bosses, the top level, or the bottom level, the first level of managers. And whichever functional area, whether it's human resource, financial marketing, material marketing, we need management in all these areas. Therefore, let us start with the definitions. How do we define management? Well, management is defined as a process by which managers create, direct, maintain, and operate purposive organizations through systematic, coordinated, and cooperative human efforts. Well, this definition sounds more or less like our favorite Chatur of the Three Idiots. But this definition was given by a gentleman by the name of Dalton McFarland. Therefore, let us concentrate on a much simpler rancho type of a definition, which says management is the use of resources to attain objectives. Okay, now, what do you actually do when you are managing things, or what functions are performed by a manager? Well, classically, there are 4 or 5 M's, which are the 5 M's of management. A manager is supposed to manage men, material, machines, methods, and money. But after going through references of so many other authors, I have compiled the M's into 13 M's or 13 resources which the manager is supposed to manage. These are manpower, mind power, material, money, machines, the methods, the market, the minutes standing for time management, the morale, measurements, the mistakes, the milieus, and the miscellaneous things. You have to manage these 13 M's by the five basic functions of the manager. Classically, these are planning, organizing, staffing, leading, and controlling. So, by managing the 13 resources through these five functions, you will be able to attain your organizational goal. A little bit more about each of these functions. The first function of planning, where this is a process by which managers decide the mission, identify the goals, and determine the best course of action required for achieving this goal. You will be reminded of the OPD level, where you have got a patient who's requiring a surgery, and how you go about the planning part of the surgery, whether the patient is fit for the surgery or not, what will be the finances involved in the surgery, how do you counsel the patient regarding the surgery, and things like that. The planning phase. The second important function of organizing. Well, organizing is the process of making the hierarchy and reporting relationships, assigning authority, responsibilities, determining the appropriate skill sets needed, and then allocating the resources to each of these designations. Well, now you will be reminded of the time just before the surgery starts. When you're preparing, you're organizing everything which is required for the surgery. The third function is of staffing. Well, staffing is the process of determining the manpower requirements, assessing the in house availability of human resource that you can use, recruiting the right persons for the right positions, deciding and offering the proper compensations and perks, followed by training, appraisal, promotion, and career planning, so that you have a motivated, happy team of staff. And as you know, this team of staff, nurses, the junior doctors, the residents, the OT technicians, these are the most important team members you need to successfully perform an operation. The fourth important function is of leading. Well, leadership is itself a huge chapter. We shall visit it later on, but for now, leading is the process of influencing, motivating, supervising, coordinating, communicating, and directing the people towards achievement of the organizational goals. You will remember that during an operation also, it is the chief operating surgeon who is much like the master of the orchestra. It is he who guides, leads, directs, and therefore ensures the successful completion of the operation. Well, the next fifth function is of controlling. Well, controlling is monitoring the actual performance, comparing it with the planned best course and standards, correcting any deviations in time by appropriate remedial measures. You will remember that after every operation or even during an operation, for example, an orthopedic implant, after each hammering of the implant, you review in the x-ray box whether the nail is going properly inside the bone or not. And if there is any correction required, you do it there and then. And therefore, this process of controlling the whole process ensures that you have a successful outcome as you have desired. Now, what are the aims of managers? Here we will be introduced to some important management terms. The aim of the managers is to improve the productivity, the efficiency, and the effectiveness. Well, productivity is defined as the output input ratio within a time period with due consideration for quality. Efficiency. Now, efficiency is a very familiar word, but it is defined as the ability to do things well, successfully, and without any waste. Efficiency is a measurable concept, quantitatively determined by the ratio of useful output to total input. We most oftenly use fuel efficiency when we ask कि ये गाड़ी कितना देती है. Well, in the medical world, you will correlate this efficiency with, for example, a camp for cataract surgery in a rural area. With limited resources, you wish to perform maximum surgeries. Therefore, efficiency is what you're looking for during these times. The next word is effectiveness. Effectiveness refers to successful attainment of stated organizational objective. Well, effectiveness is achieved things with the denominator is what you desired. The focus is on the achievement only and not on the resources spent in achieving the desired effect. This you can correlate with a very complicated neurosurgery, for example, for a rare type of a tumor which is to be extracted from the patient and therefore to save the life of the patient. Okay. Now, in this case, you will not be that much bothered about how much time you are spending in the surgery, how much cost of the surgery is being incurred, about the people who are involved in the surgery. You are more interested in getting the work done. You want a successful operation. Okay, so here you need to be effective. Now, these two terms, efficiency and effectiveness, both are very important for management and they are also interrelated. Putting it very simply, efficiency is doing things right. You can add way to it, doing things the right way. And effectiveness is doing the right thing. Well, this simple definition was given by none other than the founder of modern management, Mr. Peter Drucker. Putting it mathematically, effectiveness is result by goal, and efficiency is result by effort. Let me introduce you to another term known as the management matrix. This is actually a correlation between the effectiveness and efficiency. The effectiveness given on the y coordinate and the efficiency on the x coordinate. Now you've got four scenarios here. There is a condition where both effectiveness and efficiency are both taken care of quite well. In this condition, you will have the organization thriving very well because the goals are right, there is good use of the resources, and the product is desired by the customer at a quality and a price that he can afford. Therefore, the organization grows, it thrives. There is another condition where both effectiveness and efficiency are equally not being taken care of, where the goals are wrong, where there is poor use of resources, where the product is of low quality and the customers also don't want the product. In this scenario, the organization will slowly die. The third condition is where there is a lot of attention to effectiveness and not much attention to the efficiency. In this case, the goals are right, but there is poor use of resources. The product is wanted by customers, but it is too expensive for them to buy, for example. Here, you will be able to survive, but not thrive. And the fourth scenario is when you concentrate too much on the efficiency and you don't bother about the effectiveness, then you will not last long. You will die quickly because the goals itself are wrong. There is good use of the resources, but even a high quality of product is produced, but the customers don't want it. Therefore, you will die quickly. Therefore, both effectiveness and efficiency are necessary for success. Effectiveness is the foundation of success, but efficiency is the minimal condition for survival after you attain success. And performance is the product of efficiency and effectiveness. This gentleman is Mr. Henry Mintzberg. He gave the managerial roles approach. Now, in any organization, the managers, they are performing a few roles. Normally, in every hospital, in any healthcare organization, you have the heads, you have the leaders of the organization performing these roles, but they may be doing these unknowingly. Now, after having a basic knowledge of management, they will now do it knowingly. So, let us see what are the roles of the managers. Mintzberg defined 10 roles of managers and he categorized them into three categories. Now, these 10 roles you can imagine as the 10 hands of goddess Durga, or the 10 commandments of Moses, or if you are into a wicked state of mind, the 10 heads of Ravan also. But let us visit each one. The first category is of interpersonal role, and the first role is of as a figurehead. Here you will find the manager doing ceremonial duties, symbolic duties, greeting visitors, signing legal documents. Well, in this picture, you will recognize me receiving my PhD degree, of course, by the president and the chairman of the university performing their ceremonial duties. In the first category of interpersonal role, the second role is of the leader, where the leader motivates subordinates. He takes care of the training, counseling, and the most important part, exemplary behavior. This is most, well illustrated in the army, the Indian army, or any army worldwide. We will be visiting leadership as a topic in later videos, and this is a very important chapter. In the first category of interpersonal role, the third role is of listening, where the manager is supposed to link information from inside and outside. This is akin to discussions where you talk to your colleagues and plan for what operation you have to do or what projects you have to undertake. In the second category, which is the informational category, informational role category, the fourth role is of the recipient. Here, the manager receives information either by reading newspapers, periodicals, or he takes care of his networking. Information is a very important thing. So he has to receive the right information, and importantly, he has to disseminate that information. So next role, the fifth role is of the disseminator. The information should be forwarded to the right persons concerned. This information web is the most important thing to be taken care of any organization, industry, or a healthcare organization. And the last of the informational role is the spokesperson role. Here, the manager has to transmit information to outsiders through speeches, through press notes. A very familiar figure nowadays in the COVID times. Then the last category is of decisional category, and the seventh role is of the entrepreneur. Here the manager performs the role of initiating projects. He has to promote innovative ideas and therefore act as the chief entrepreneur, the leader entrepreneur of his organization. The eighth role is of a disturbance handler, something which absorbs quite a lot of time in day-to-day managements. Here the manager's role is to resolve disputes, to adapt to the environmental crisis, and therefore to save the organization and keep it in the right path. A very familiar scene in the newspapers or actual happenings: unrest among the employees, strike over minimal reasons, and things like that. The ninth role is of a resource allocator. The manager has to decide on the distribution of the resources, on the budgeting, on the prioritizing. And this is a very important role which the manager has to play. Last but not the least is the role of the negotiator, where the manager has to negotiate deals for the organization, contracts, or negotiate with the union on their demands. Often, such negotiations can also be in the courtrooms. Now, the management is considered classically to have three levels because with growth in size, you need more and more people in the administration team. Classically, there is always a pyramidal structure where you have people on the top level, on the middle level, and the first level. Of course, at the top, there is hardly any crowding. So, the three levels of management, what are the designations for these three levels? The top level designations is the chief executive officers, the president, the vice presidents, the deans, and the medical superintendents of the organizations. In the middle level, you have the managers or the heads of the department or heads of unit. And in the first level, you have the supervisors, the in charges, the assistant professors, seniors, and junior residents. Now, what are the functions and responsibilities? To elaborate, in the top level, the function is to keep the organization on the growth path as per the mission and vision of the organization. The top level managers have to develop and review long term plans, projects, and strategies. They have to evaluate the overall performance and select the key persons on the key posts. They are the advisors to the board and they are the interface between the employees and the board and the organization and the outside. They are responsible for the overall motivation, direction, and guidance. Now, coming to the middle level, well, here they are responsible for the implementation of the plans, projects, and the policies that are decided by the top level. They have to develop and review intermediate term plans and strategies. They review weekly, daily the performance indicators, and they are the ones chiefly involved in staffing, recruiting. The first level of supervisors are responsible first to understand the objectives clearly. Then they get the actual job done as per the plan and they ensure that the necessary resources are available to the workmen and they review the output variables constantly. Now, if we are to, substitute the five functions, what we have already seen into these three levels, we find that the planning and organization is mostly done by the top level management. The staffing function is mostly done by the middle level, and interestingly, it is the leading function which is most important for the supervisors in the first level. And of course, controlling has to be done constantly by all three levels of management. Now, there are separate skill sets which are vital for managers. Robert Katz, he described three types of skills: conceptual skills, people skill or human skills, and technical skills. Now, again, revisiting our pyramid of top management, middle management, and first level management, you will see that the conceptual skills are mostly required at the top level management. The people skill are mostly required in the middle management, and the technical skills are required in the lower or the first level of management. Elaborating on conceptual skills. Well, conceptual skills are the ability to do work with ideas and concepts. Abstract. Strategic planning and setting directions. Cognitive business and strategic skills. Most important for the top managers, and it is a necessary skill also to climb the career ladder. The people skill. This is the ability to work with the people in a team. It requires openness to inputs from others, to adapt ideas based on these inputs, to create an atmosphere of trust, and this is important in all the three levels, most importantly in the middle level. And last but not the least, the technical skills. This is the proficiency in the specific type of work, the ability to do work with things, tools. It is based on specific knowledge and training. It is necessity of the lower management and also the middle management. It is not much used by the upper or senior level management. A newer concept of design skill and so many other skills have been added to the list. So let us sum up. Summing up, now we know why we should learn about management. We have discussed the definitions of management. We have understood how to manage the 13 M's by the 5 functions of planning, organizing, staffing, leading, and controlling. We discussed the importance of efficiency, effectiveness, and the management matrix. And we discussed the 10 roles of the managers, the 3 levels of management, and the 3 skills of management. Therefore, now we are ready to know more about the science and art of management. Thank you so much for listening to this video, and I shall try to bring forth the next part of this management for doctors. Thank you.